Hello, beautiful love goddess. Welcome back to a recording of a Love Goddess podcast with your host, Katya Melvin, me. And this week we are talking on the big subject that is God works in mysterious ways. And I have already shared with you some of the situations that came through last week alone. However, these are daily things. A lot of us are blind to seeing the magic, seeing what's outside. My core belief is that everything happens for you, not to you. And every time something happens where I don't even believe or see that this is a good thing, right? The person is leaving that I loved, right? An employee is leaving that I loved. Why is this happening? Like, how is that a good thing? But that might mean that somebody that is more fitting that it's coming around, right? Same thing for husband or boyfriend or whoever else, right? You're losing a job, and that just means you're probably gonna find the one that's gonna serve you better, right? That is only if you are nurturing your energy with the positive vibration and charging yourself up with the positive frequency that attracts that. Because if you are complaining about the job that you currently have and you keep complaining, you're gonna very soon lose what you have because you have attracted that, and what's gonna come around is actually not gonna be better but is going to be worse. So if you are watching your frequency, watching what you're emitting on the inside, it's not the outside job, it's the inside. Everything, it's so funny. People will talk just because they talk. And I always look at their actions, and I recommend you do too. People love to talk nicely and smoothly and tell you all these things and how wonderful they are, but there is zero proof to their actions. And for you, I want for you to also make judgments on someone else's accomplishments, not by their words, but by their actions. And by their actions, you're really gonna find out whether this is something that is credible and that you can trust, or is this something that you should probably question, right? And God works in mysterious ways. Sometimes your blessing comes as disguise. Sometimes your biggest blessing comes in the form of your biggest despair. When I was 10 years ago, when I was pregnant with my very first son, Angel, I lost my child when I was 36 weeks pregnant. So Angel was stillborn. And this was the hardest experience I have had to go through in my life. And because of this experience, I have become a photographer. Because of this experience, I have started this journey towards empowering other women who are mothers. Because of this journey, I'm a mother because I never wanted to be a mother, and I still have a lot in me that I protest, and I keep saying to myself, I am not a mother. I do not want to be a mother. There is nothing that appeals to me in being a mother, and I know a lot of women will not relate to that because I see a lot of women could relate to other women through motherhood. I just can't. That's not my thing, and that's totally okay. My thing is business. To me, business is just as big of a baby, right? But a lot of women say, oh, my kids are my purpose, right? And so I had that experience. So I had the experience that I was before anything else. I, I did not want to have kids, and then I accidentally got pregnant, and then I lost a child, and God works in mysterious ways, right? Our big subject for the week. And through that, I felt that I wanted to have 10 kids right after I lost my child, because I had these motherly instincts that were not utilized. I have milk in my breasts. I had the bedroom. I felt that I needed like to put everything that I've been preparing for with my very first child. I wouldn't say to practice, but I just had this void feeling. And that's how Alexei came about, because without it, I wouldn't have him right now, right? God works in mysterious ways. And when he came, I started taking photos of him, and that's how I pick up like family portraits, and that's how I transitioned to boudoir, and the rest is history, right? God works in mysterious ways. You don't see the big picture, and you should, and a lot of people don't have the capacity to step back and really look at their life and what's happening from a bigger perspective, from like disengaged perspective, from a perspective of an outsider. They don't have, they're so busy and distracted that they don't do what I do. I make sure that I am mindful, and I'm also having the big vision. Big vision requires for me to step away from the situation and look at myself on the outside perspective in order to be able to understand how this was a blessing for me. And that's the question I ask. How is this situation a blessing? Everything happens for me, not to me. And that's the key principle in that I follow in my life. Everything is happening for me. I'm being guided by my divine guidance team. I am following the direction. I'm following the nudges. I'm following the hunches. I am very intuitive. I'm following my intuition. I act on what feels right, not what's logical. That's what's gotten me this far, and I know it's gonna get me even further, because not the logic. My brain is not the guide in my life. My gut is. My heart is. My intuition is. You know, it's if it's not a hell yes for me, it's a no. Like if I don't feel it in my gut, like I just shared with you a story of a guy who was breaking into my studio door, and I was not even supposed to be there, and like with this aggressive energy, and I'm like, no, I'm not letting you in. You're like, you bad vibes, right? You're bringing bad vibes in here, right? And same thing with like, hey, if I don't have this gut feeling, if I ever question, is it a maybe? Like, is it like, if I ever question anything, it's always a no. If I ever question anything, it's always a no. If it's not a hell yes, it's always a no. And that's another really, really good life principle that I want for you to really tap into, because it's so, so important. It's so, so important. People get in trouble because they follow their brain. Their brain, they think they're God. They're not God. They're high. There is force higher than brain that guides you out of your misery, out of your life, out of the situation. And you really, really want to follow your intuition to find out. And if you thought you followed intuition and you got burned, well, there's your lesson. You're not gonna do it again. And just like be very playful with how you approach life. We are so stuck in our seriousness and our shoots. That's another good podcast episode. Like we are stuck in our shoots instead of just living life, following our God, following our intuition, being in the moment, because that is what matters. That is what's important, right? And so my message to you today is about whatever happens to you, whatever happens to you happens for you. Whatever happens to you happens for you. And this is something so important to remember, because it is your main principle. If you are raising your vibration, if you're working on yourself and your personal development, this is the life principle that should lead you out of any negative situations. This is a principle that will allow you to have that higher perspective on the situation, and it will also open you up to see other possibilities and other opportunities and other things that are coming your way. Because when one door closes, another door always opens, right? There's never an end. So what happens to you happens for you. So important to remember. And by the way, did you hear that you get one free class to try out at our Love Goddess studio that we opened in Virginia Beach? And so many good things. I mean, first of all, Love Goddess Studio is not your typical dance studio. We are so much more. We are a community of women where you get to find your bestie, your next bestie. We are here to connect women together. We're here to have women have an opportunity to finally dress up and go out and be surrounded by other women who do the same, right? We are hosting dance classes so women get an opportunity to tap into that sensual flow, and that's just like a practice of being feminine, being a woman, being seductive, right? We host workshops in our community room, empowerment workshops, talks. We invite other members to come talk if they're members of the club, right? So it's so important. This is how you do meet your next best friend. And we have a whole bunch of events that we are hosting as well. Then spirituality workshops. We are doing meditation classes. We are doing inner circle sisterhood circles. We are doing ecstatic dance. We are doing just trying to think, who else did I align? Who else did I make arrangements with? My plans are big. I'm looking for people who can help me facilitate all of that. Another cool class that I recently came up with, and we're gonna do a test run on it, called Inner Child, where, like I shared with you earlier, women are so serious about life, and it's so important to let loose. It's so important to tap into our inner child. And so this is a place where we get to play games and dress up however the fuck we want to nurture and nourish our inner child. And it's a very safe space. We have curtains that's going to be closed. Nobody's going to see anything. You are in a safe environment. So that's the key. This is a safe environment for women to express their sexuality. There's nothing like that in the area or in the country. I'm telling you, this is nothing like that. I am intuitively guided by my guides as a high priestess to create this here on earth. There is nothing like this in existence. It's not even going to be compared to the gym or a dance studio or any of that. It's a very unique, on its own, wholesome integration of life. Wholesome is what we do here. It's never separated or pieced as a single elements, right? I forgot to tell you, we're gonna host networking events once a month. We're gonna host themed parties where we get to dress up and have fun together every quarter. And we're going to invite all sorts of wonderful experts to come and talk on different various subjects. So many wonderful things are coming. My dreams are big. My dreams are scary. Sometimes I feel very lonely in this because of that. And I need all the help in the world. And a lot of times there are moments when I feel lonely and I feel like I'm lacking help. And this is when I still step in and do it myself, right? Because my vision is so big and so strong. And like, if I'm not going to do it, who else is going to do it? That's my philosophy about everything, right? So yeah, you have an opportunity for one free class for your very first class. Link will be posted below. Please make sure to sign up and don't miss out on this. And thank you so much for tuning in to today's podcast episode on a big subject of God works in mysterious ways, and whatever happens to you always and always happens for you. Bye.